Recording in progress. Great, let's start. So we place our feet on the ground. And this is the only time you're allowed to look at your feet, okay? Because I want you to feel where your feet are on the ground. And I want you to understand the shape of your legs and the feeling of your legs rather than having to keep looking at them. So first of all, we'll put them on the ground. The feet on the ground is so they're straight ahead and parallel, and shoulder width. Shoulders are the armpits rather than the outside edge of the shoulder. Hips, shoulders, and feet all in line. And then a little bounce into them. Keep the head up, keep the chest lifted, keep the back of the head upright, and just a little bounce into the feet so we get a really nice feeling of the weight in the front of the foot, the back of the foot, and the outside edges of the feet. So what I said last week, a small rotation of the thighs brings the knees outwards and brings the weight onto the outside edge of the feet. And I hope you can feel that. I hope you can play with that idea of not just moving the knees outwards, but a rotation of the thigh. And that rotation of the thigh comes from softening the hip joints, allowing the tail to sink. So all these things inside the body can just go, and release. And in that releasing, the weight of the body presses the thighs open, presses the knees out. Straight away, we're beginning to feel the body and be in the body. I'm lifting my chest. I'm placing my body back down onto the feet by releasing. I'm going to shake the arms and a small movement in the shoulders just to loosen up. Just explore the range of movement in the shoulders. Nothing. Keep it really soft and gentle. Feel the chest opening, chest closing as the back stretches open. Just create some space and movement inside the body. The other thing we're going to try and do is to tuck the tail, not by pushing it down, but by softening the whole of the back, relaxing the legs, and as if there's a weight on the tail, as if there's a weight, just letting it pull you down. So you feel your tailbone drop. You feel the weight of the body in the feet. There's our standing posture. From our standing posture, gently curling the spine, letting the weight of the head drop, letting the weight of the arms drop, keeping the weight in the same part of the feet. The knees bend all the way down, the legs push up, the body breathes in, follow the movement, and the pushing up finishes right at the top and the top of the in-breath. Letting the head gently fall behind, letting the arms gently fall behind, the weight in the same part of the feet. Breathe out. Of course, in your own timing. The knees are bending the whole time you're breathing out. The arms are dropping, the head is dropping, the weight is in the same part of the feet. Breathe in, push up. Top of the in-breath, top of the pushing up. The weight in the same part of the feet. Breathing out, sinking. Knees are bending, body's softening. Arms are releasing, head is releasing, bottom of the out-breath, and coming up. Next exercise, folding the hips and folding the knees. Have a look at what I'm doing here before you do it yourself. Just have a quick look. I'm going to make sure you can see my feet. When I do this, my knees absolutely in line with the feet. When I fold my hips and I drop my knees don't come in and they don't go out. the weight stays in the same part of the feet. So as I fold, be really conscious that your weight doesn't shift forward or backwards, sideways or inwards in the feet. It stays in the same part of the feet. So we're going to focus on the feet this class. We're going to focus on the contact of the feet with the ground. Folding, the same weight in the same part of the feet. The shoulders are just hanging and the arms are hanging. The only thing that changes in this part of the exercise, the back leans forward, but it doesn't arch. The hips fold and the knees fold. It's the only two things that change. And I go to a low position that feels comfortable. Some people may find they can get to here. Some people may find they just get to here. It doesn't matter how low you get. What's important is you stay focused. I'm going to close the door, keep that dog of mine at bay. It doesn't matter how low you get. What matters is you keep listening to your feet and you keep listening as if you're drawn downwards. So your legs are softening and your body's relaxing. Just to there. Then you push up with the legs. The legs are lifting the whole time. And the weight stays in the same part of the foot all the way up. So you've gone down and you've come up. It's the reverse of what you've just done. So you fold the legs and you push the legs back up. So it's like a spring that's going in, coming out. Concertina, you could say, or a piano accordion. I'm taking this really slowly so you can really feel what we're doing. You're feeling the weight in the same part of the feet, letting the arms hang. You're lifting the legs. The weight is in the same part of the feet. As you come up, you're breathing in. And the top of the in-breath is the top of the stretch. It's a very light stretch. So you're not really, it's not like working in a gym where you're pushing and reaching and going quickly. You're really just feeling the whole body lift. The chest lifts, the back of the head lifts, and the fingertips lift. And you feel from the fingertips right through to the feet. And of course, the feet haven't changed their weight, or the position of the weight in the feet hasn't changed. So if we go from the beginning again, fold, conscious of the weight in the feet. You use the legs, breathe in. That here, I start to, as the body comes straight, I lift the chest, I drop the chin and lift the back of the neck. I keep breathing in and then at the top. The next move is a complete relaxation. Knees are bending, the body's softening, and the body is releasing into a standing, connected position. It should feel very, very loose. The weight is in the same part of the feet. And when I scan through the whole body, there's nowhere that I can feel I can release anymore. So the buttocks are relaxed, the belly's relaxed, the chest is relaxed, the weight of the arms are relaxed, and it's a comfortable, soft posture. Then, when I reach that posture, I start again. Breathe in. Lift the chest, crown of the head, stretch. There's my alignment, and now I release into it. The knees bend very lightly, the tail softens, the chest softens. The arms relax into the standing posture. I turn to the side by softening the hips. Fold exactly the same as the beginning, the hip and the knee. I turn back to the front. Breathe in, lift. Don't just lift the fingertips, but make sure the body lifts, the chest lifts, the crown of the head lifts, and the arms. So the whole body is stretched upwards. Released. The whole body releases. Can you see how you have to spread your awareness over the whole body? You can't just be thinking about your knees or your feet or your lower back. You have to do something different in Tai Chi that puts your mind or your awareness through your whole body and feels your whole body as one unit. And this is a key principle in Tai Chi, that we're not just, what we normally do in our day-to-day is we focus on this and this and this and maybe two things at the same time. And if we're able to, three things at the same time, but we're kind of focused in that way. In Tai Chi, we kind of sit back in the center of everything. So when we're in this position, we feel the whole body from the fingertips to the feet. And as that concertina closes, we release and let gravity press us in. We feel the whole body change. This is why we do it slowly. So we can ensure that we're not jumping around with our mind, just focusing on one thing. We're really taking our time to notice the sensations in the body, feet in the same, the weight in the same part of the feet, the chest lifting, the head lifting, the fingers lifting, the top of the in-breath release. Finish, fold. Chest, crown of the head, fingertips release. And as the hands come down across the brow, my brow softens, my jaw softens, my throat softens, my chest softens, my abdomen softens, diaphragm, groin, buttocks, lower back settles. So the whole body is. I sometimes talk about it as if we're letting ourselves go into a hot bath. After a busy day, you just run the bath, bubbles, whatever you want. Time for yourself. Settle. That's the quality we're looking for. We're looking for that, not in our bath. We're looking for that in our posture, in our relaxation, in our daily life. So, standing in the queue at the supermarket, lift. Don't need to use the arms. Release, aware of the whole body. Finish. Lift. Release. We can make that exercise smaller, feet parallel, with the arms just coming up to the height of the shoulders, one fist apart. And if you notice my arms, they're long. It's as if a wave is going along the arm. When I lift, I don't lift the shoulders. I release the shoulders because the pivot point is approximately here. So if you look at the pivot point here, this part of the shoulder goes down, and the pivot point being here, this part comes up. What you don't want is this shoulder coming up. You want the shoulder blade sinking down the back, and the pivot point is here, so the arm comes out this way. In order to do that, there has to be relaxation and releasing of the weight of the arm, which is a bit contradictory because the arm is coming up. But if you think of the arm as bubbling up through water or floating up, and concentrate more on the shoulder, both shoulders sinking into the feet. So again, it's spreading the mind over the whole body and not thinking of the shoulders lifting, but thinking of the shoulders down and back as the arm comes up. And it's as this happens, this happens. As the shoulders relax, the chest opens in a width way and the arms come up. The body's at the top and then you sink place the body back into the standing posture. Push the legs up, soften the chest, the arms float up. Nice and long, not close to the body here, nice and long, all the joints open. The height of the throat, 1 fist apart. I'm just going to have a little spy on what you're doing. And if you've got any questions, you can ask. You have to unmute yourself. I just want to check in with you what you're doing. I'm going to give slightly different instructions to different people who are at different stages in their practice. Okay, so if you've been doing Tai Chi for a year or more, you should be looking for the body coming first and the arms joining in with that and following it. So it's like the lead is given by the body softening, the legs softening, body softening, shoulders following that lead. Okay, so you're working more with what's taking place inside the body and more with the subtle sensations of the melting of the muscles. So if you've got experience of Tai Chi, you can begin to grapple with those sorts of sensations. If you're new to Tai Chi, then try and coordinate it all together as one unit. By that, I mean, feel the whole body. As you're coming up, you come up. As you're going down, you go down. And it's a simpler practice. It's just as relaxing, but it's a simpler practice because our Tai Chi develops over time. And the building blocks of firstly getting the body to move as we want it to move accurately, upright, accurate, coordinated on the outside, or the external movements accurate, gradually changes into being coordinated on the inside and using the muscle change and the relaxation on the inside to blend with the changes on the outside. Okay, step by step by step. First of all, we need a very good structure. We need a very good understanding of our posture and an understanding of our coordination. That means the awareness has to spread around the whole body and work the whole body at the same time. Then, while we're doing that, we can feel the legs change and melt, the lower back release, the shoulders soften, and that's more of an internal change. So I'm still spying on you. Just indulge me to have a look. I may not need to say anything, I just need to see how you're working, and that'll help me go on to the next part of the class. Yeah, good. Comment when you come up, the hands just 1 fist apart at the height of the throat. Don't have them too wide here. When you come up, the hands are closer together. And then the explanation of that would be if you're doing a martial art with somebody, someone's coming to attack you, you don't want to be out here because they'll get in. Okay, so if you're going to move their arms out of the way, stepping back and drawing them this way, you want to be quite close. It's more of a defensive type of move here rather than here. This allows somebody in and this protects your throat. So in this move, the hands are closer together, 1 fist apart at the top. Take a break and have a look at my arm movement. I'll try and do it here, so you can see the arm. It's as if I'm going to run this hand along the underside of my arm. As it passes my elbow begins to drop. As it passes my wrist begins to drop and then out. So it's like my arm is really malleable and soft, and then this arm just holds the weight of my arm. As it gets here, my shoulder relaxes more, my elbow drops, my wrist drops, and my hand drops off. It doesn't fall away, but that's the feeling. It's like a wave goes out along my arm. As I lift my arms, it's as if a wave is going out to the fingertips and back. And I often talk about it like if you've ever been bowling and you take the ball and you do it with the posture and you let the posture come forwards and the arm follows it in a wave. This is the same type of movement that we're looking for. You throw the arm out and the fingers are the last thing in that movement to take the wave of the movement. So in this movement, the fingers are the last thing. You start with the legs, then the upper body, then the shoulders, then the elbow, then the fingertips. It's like you're throwing something away from you with your hand, as if you were bowling. We try and get that feeling into the body, so each part of the body moves like a wave. So we're not just kind of doing it with the hands or doing it with the elbows. It's coming through and from the whole body. Okay, and that's something you practice each time you do it. It's something you try to feel, and when you're not feeling it, you notice, well, maybe I'm doing too much. Every time you do too much, you soften in Tai Chi and do less and do less, and let it be more and more relaxed and more connected. Every time we're tight in our bodies, we're disconnected. We say disconnected in Tai Chi. Every time we're released, gravity presses us in and we become connected. That's the condition we're looking for, okay? Rather than holding too much tension. Let's do a little bit of Tai Chi walking. So starting with your feet, heels touching and the body upright. We put all the weight into one foot. We let the foot come forwards. We don't reach, we just let the leg come out until the heel touches the ground. And there's no weight in that heel because all my weight is on one leg. As I roll forwards into the 50-50 weight position, that's when my front foot touches the ground. So in the center, which is my weight right between the feet, I've got 50-50 weight in both feet. And that's when my front foot comes down. Then I keep moving on to my front foot. And now when I'm fully on my front foot, my back heel peels off. And I keep sinking onto my front foot until there's no weight in my back foot. Then it can swing through with no weight and it lands where it lands. I don't reach forward and I don't step forward. I just sink on the one leg and swing the foot through. The heel touches lightly. Then I look for 50-50 as the front foot comes down. 50-50 weight. I sink 100% weight. The back heel comes off and I swing the foot through. Let's keep doing that and try and be fully aware of every single change that you make in that walking. And you also have to work with your balance. And remember, in Tai Chi, balance comes from being upright and sinking. It doesn't come from tightening the muscles and holding on. Exactly the opposite. It comes from releasing the muscles and letting the weight of the body press us into alignment. Step. 50-50, the front foot comes down. Sink onto the front foot, the hips come over the front foot, the back foot peels. release, stable, swing the foot through. No weight, you should be able to pick up the heel, there's no weight in the empty foot. 50-50, the front foot comes down. Centrally stable and balanced, upright. Sink onto the front foot, the back heel comes off because my hips are coming forwards. Now I'm fully over the left foot. Sinking on the left foot, the back foot swings through. See if you feel yourself tightening to get your balance. See if you can find yourself sinking and releasing to get your balance. Swing through. 50-50. Sink onto the front foot. Back foot peels, swing through. And go at your own pace, go at speed you feel comfortable. So it becomes that you're doing every single part of it, but there are no gaps. And you're not dawdling, you're not waiting on one foot. As soon as you arrive in one foot, fully swing through. As soon as the heel touches, 50-50. Sink onto the front foot, back foot's free, swing through. So it continues, but you make sure all those dots are ticked. Every single point is done accurately. But you don't just wait on one foot, swing through, wait, and then do the next bit. You try and join the dots together. And the stepping isn't picking up the knee to step. It's just simply letting the leg swing from the hip. 50-50. 100% in the front leg, swing the leg through. 50-50. 100% in the front leg, back heel comes off, swing the leg through. And I'm going to spine you again. Can't see everybody's feet, but that doesn't matter. Try and stay upright so you don't have to look at your feet. Yeah. Try and feel what your feet are doing rather than look at them. Every time we drop our head weighs about 10 or 15 pounds. It's quite a lot of force forwards. And when the force is falling forwards, we have to compensate somewhere else by tightening. What we want is the weight of the head dropping down as well. Neck softening. The weight of the head helps keep us stable. Good. It takes a bit of concentration, doesn't it? Good. Okay. Let's come back. The walking is exactly how we step in Tai Chi. So, for example, if we take our basic ward off left posture, remember the basic posture is feet parallel, turn 1 foot out, or if I'm facing 12 o'clock, turn 1 foot out to 1 o'clock, move on to it, let the legs swing through, put the heel down where the toe was. My front foot is facing forward, 12 o'clock. My back foot is facing 1 o'clock. My right foot is facing 1 o'clock. My hips, my shoulders, and my gaze, 12 o'clock. My hand, my left hand, the same hand as the left foot forward, left hand forward. The center of the hand is on the center line of the body, at the height of the sternum. All the joints are open. This is nice and round. Body is up. Neck is straightened. Crown of the head up. And the body's released into both legs. The right hand is curved. One fist between the body and the arm with the thumb on the thigh. Ward off left. Just going to hold that posture for 30 seconds. What I'd ask you to do is feel where the tension is in the body. Feel the parts of the body that are going, ooh, that feels a bit awkward. Right? Do what you can to let yourself settle, to let the muscles melt, to let the legs take the weight of the body, and let the legs receive your weight and press you onto the ground 50-50 weight. Let the shoulders release. If your shoulders feel tight, if your legs feel tight at any point, you can shake out. If you're comfortable in the posture, just stay with it as long as you can in a relaxed way and just settle into it. And then stepping, sinking forwards, the back heel peels off. I'm going to do it so you can see my feet. I'm just going to change my screen so you can see my feet a bit better. There we go. Just have a break and have a look at what I'm doing. Have a look. I'll do it without the arms first of all. It's exactly like we were just walking. From this posture, I move forward, and as I move forward, I'm moving my weight to my left foot. My right heel comes off the ground. There's no weight in my right foot. I turn to the corner. I step. Just the heel. And instead of just letting the foot swing forward wherever it lands, this time I'm putting the foot in a definite position, which is towards 3 o'clock. I'm facing 12 o'clock. I sink onto the front foot, the right heel peels off the ground. I turn to the corner. Now my hips and my shoulders are facing 1:30. I take a step with the heel to 3 o'clock. As I move into the 50-50, both feet 50-50 weight. As I move into the middle position, both feet 50-50. I'm still facing the corner. And to finish the move, I turn my hips. As I turn my hips, my left foot comes round. Now I'm facing 3 o'clock. Let's do that together. I'm going to do it facing away from you so you can follow me. We start with a basic bow stance, which is the right toes out, 1 o'clock, the left foot forwards, 12 o'clock. I'm facing 12 o'clock. I'm going to turn to 3 o'clock. So first of all, I lift the chest, I lift the back of the neck, and I settle into the posture, 50-50 weight. The hips, the shoulders, and the gaze straight ahead. Forget the arms for the moment. Trickle the weight, drop by drop by drop, coming forwards until you feel really stable over the left foot. The right heel comes off the ground. There's no weight in the ball of the foot. Now I've got an alignment from my crown of my head, my lower back and my heel. I'm going to turn, and my hips and my shoulders turn to face 1:30. There's still no weight in my right foot. All my weight is stable and upright over my left. I take a step with the heel. There's no weight in that step. It's very, very, very light. All my focus is on balancing and releasing. When I move into the middle now, so I'm going to move forwards towards my right foot. My right toes go down. As I reach the center, 50-50, my right toes go down. I'm facing 1:30. The next part of the movement is I'm going to turn my hips to 3 o'clock, and my left toes are going to come in, and I sink into the posture again. I'm facing 3 o'clock. Let's do it again. Shoulder width between the feet, left foot at 12 o'clock, right foot at 1 o'clock. Body upright, body released. 50-50 weight. Trickle the weight forward onto the left foot. Feel the heel come off the ground. Feel the axis. This is like a rotating door, crown of the head, tail and heel. You're going to turn the hips around that axis until you reach 1:30. Now my hips and my shoulders are facing 1:30. There's no weight in the right toes. take a step with the heel, very, very light, and then move towards it. So my whole body now is moving away from the left foot, 50-50, the right toes go down, 50-50, facing 1:30, turn, and the left toes come in. Now I'm facing 3 o'clock, and I release and sink again. Let's turn back to 12 o'clock. I move forward onto the right foot. I find my alignment over the right, and my left heel comes off the ground. I'm facing 3 o'clock. I'm going to turn back to 1:30 and take a step with the heel of the left. There's no weight in that step. Then I move into the 50-50, and my left foot touches as I reach the middle. I'm still facing 1:30. I'm going to turn to 12 o'clock. My hips turn, and as they do, my right toes turn with it. I face 12 o'clock and I sink. One, move forwards. 2, turn. 3, step. 4, move into the center. 5, square to face the front. 6, sink. Move forward. 1. Turn. 2. Step. 3. Move into the middle. 4. Turn the hips. 5. Sink. 6. Just keep going with that. What we want to try and do is get each of these stages clear. So you're giving an instruction to your body's doing the right thing. Keep going with that. I'm going to spy on you again. And I'm going to say, if you wanted to unmute yourself at any point and ask any questions, I just want to make sure that you're clear with this. I'll send you a video, or you'll have this video to follow. But I just want to make sure that you're clear with how the stepping works. When we learn it first, it's very A, B, C, D, E, F, 6 things to do. Over time, when we get really comfortable with it, it becomes much more fluid. But what we want to make sure is that all the fundamentals are accurate. We understand what we're doing, we understand why we're doing them, and our body's able to do them. Then we can make them more fluid, and we won't lose the quality of the movement. All our step will be single weighted. Our accuracy with where our hips, shoulders, and gaze is going, and when our hips turn, our foot will move with it. When we want to sink, we'll sink. These things have to be clear. So if anyone's got any questions, please ask. Good. Good. Okay, I'm going to show you the common mistakes. Right. Okay, and so you can see for yourself if you're falling into the common mistakes. This is the fun bit, right? Okay, the common mistakes. The first one is that when you step here, your step is narrow. So if you look, if I'm in this position, I'm going to get my album again, so you can see where I need to step to. Stepping in a square. When I move on to my left foot and I turn, my right heel needs to go onto the corner of the album. Then when I move into it and turn, I've got that nice shoulder width between my feet. If you've got an album, that you don't care too much about, have a go with it. Take the record out first because you'll break it otherwise. What a lot of people do, and a lot of mistakes come from doing this, stepping, look, it's too narrow. That step isn't on the corner of the album. So if I do that here and I step narrow, when I come into the posture and I turn, I'm all kind of like this and unbalanced. I haven't got that nice triangle to relax onto. It's kind of got like wedge shaped rather than this shaped. So the first step, the first problem is that the stepping's wrong. You have to do it so that you're not looking at the feet, you're feeling where you're stepping. You practice till, yeah, question.
Yeah, that means then that when after you've turned, the heel is still in the same place that it was before you've turned then?
So
is it the same corner?
So this is my left foot here. Ask again, Cormac, my right heel.
So the heel actually ends up in the same, even after you lift it all up, the heel ends up in the same position that it was in before. It's just the...
Pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. What you're doing is you're changing the direction.
Yeah.
Of the foot. Yeah, pretty much, because that's good observation, because you can see the heels are over the corners. When I turn to this way, that heel's in the same place, and this heel's in the same place. Pretty much. Yeah. So you don't want to be stepping out here, and you don't want to be stepping in here. It's stepping towards the front again. So you're ending up with that shoulder width position. So yeah, I'd say definitely. Okay. The next problem with the stepping, and the next common mistake, is that when you step, when you turn, people's knees come in. If I do it facing this way, when I move onto the left foot, when I turn here, all my weight's on my left foot, people's knees come in and the weight goes onto the inside edge of the foot. The knee only bends towards the toes and the weight is in the same part of the foot. So when you sink and turn, the weight must stay in the same part of the foot, not roll onto the inside edge. If the knee collapses inwards, see now my knee's going that way, my toes are going that way, they need to be in the same alignment, then the weight stays in the same part of the foot. That turning then is to do with the hip joint opening, not the knee coming in. That's the second mistake. The third mistake, because there's so many mistakes, third mistake is that the step is a falling. We say in Taiji it's an empty step or a single weighted step, no weight in the step. You can pick it up straight away, put it down and pick it up. There's no falling in, okay? Because if you're falling, you're committed to it. And if, as a martial art, if your opponent sees that you're committed to something, they know what your next move is. And you want to remain with as much possibility of change as you can. So if you put your foot down, you've still got a choice whether you go into it or not. If you're falling into your foot, your next move is, they know exactly where your center of gravity is going to be and they know where your movement's going to be. You choose to go into it when you want to go into it, not because you fall into it, okay? So those are the three common mistakes. Let's do that stepping again and have a look at each of those in your own movements, because when you can correct these yourself and when you can see you're doing them well yourself, it's quite rewarding in a way, because it means you have to find a different way of listening to your body and a different way of feeling what you do to not make those mistakes. So if we go from left foot forward, facing 12 o'clock, sinking onto the left, the right heel peels. When we turn, we don't want our knee to turn inwards. We want to keep the weight in the same part of the foot, the left foot. When we step with a right heel, We want it to go down so we're shoulder width in our next step. Then when we move in, we're not falling into it. We're gently putting our foot down, squaring and sinking. Just look down, bring the front foot back. Are you shoulder width? Here, your hips square, is your body upright? Moving forwards. Back heel peels off the ground, still facing 3 o'clock. Then as we turn, make sure your knee doesn't collapse inwards. The weight is in the same part of your right foot. There's no weight in your left, so you can step with the heel. Make sure the heel goes down as if it was stepping onto the square of the album. Then move in. Left foot goes down. Body's facing 130. Turn. Body's facing 12. Sink. Have a look. Are we shoulder width? Yes. Keep going. Keep going with that. You'll pretty soon see if you're taking a narrow step, if you're falling into the step, if your knees turning in and your weight's going onto the inside edge of the foot. These things you'll see, and these things you can start to practice to change. These are like drills, really, in a way. And because it's a martial art, we keep doing it again and again and again until it becomes habitual, until we can feel what we're doing and why we're doing what we do. And it brings the mind and the body together really clearly. So we have to pay full attention to what we do. We have to make sure we're not falling into our posture. The step is empty. The turning is very smooth. In the turning, we're sinking, we're keeping a nice alignment, and it's like we're creating a hinge, like a rotating door from the crown of the head to the foot, that the hips are turning around. We're creating that axis in our body. We're listening to the whole body move as a unit. Good. Has anyone got any questions with that sequence of stepping from one side to the next? Yeah, Inma.
So when we are stepping, the normal reaction would be to kind of go up to step, but we are not going up, right? We are going down. We are sinking while we are stepping, right?
Yeah, it's the same as the walking. Yeah. So when we if you have a look, when I'm in this, when I turn and I put the heel down, this sinking. So I'm dropping slightly into the center. This is the center position where my center line is bang between the middle of the feet. And as I reach that center point, my right toes touch and I'm sinking. I'm halfway down. If I was just doing a normal walk, I'd put the foot down. This is a Tai Chi walk. I'd put the foot down, sinking into both feet. Keep sinking onto the front foot, step. Sink halfway down, sink fully down. Sink halfway down, sink fully down to step. So it's the same here. Step, sink halfway down. Turn, sink fully down. Does that is that the answer?
Yep.
Is that an answer?
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, great. Yeah. See, what I want to make sure is that it's clear for you, so you know what to do, so you know how to practice and what to practice, and then that'll change how you move, and it'll change your understanding of how you move, and it'll change your understanding of the tensions in your body that stops your body being free and loose. Okay, they say in Tai Chi that as a beginner we're like a block of, it's a bit exaggerated, we're like a block of wood. That's what they say in the classics. We're like a block of wood, and then over time we break down into smaller bits, and we're like 3 or 4 bits moving together. Slowly we break down, we're like pebbles that can move like when the sea moves a beach. Slowly we're like sand on the inside, and slowly we're like dust. And when the wind blows, our body moves. So that's the kind of description of how we move. And we want to move away from being like a kind of robotic block to being much softer on the inside, so that the tensions in the body don't disrupt the movements. And you can see if you've got tension in your body, your whole body moves and your knee collapses because there's not freedom in your hip joint to change. But when the body's more like pebbles on the inside, it's got more movement on the inside and isn't constrained by the tensions in the body. So this is kind of how it's described as we move. And what we have to do then is work out a way of training so that we can become more like that, lighter on the inside. Yeah, because the idea is great. What we want is a training method that gets us there. Always practical. How can we train? What can we do to make our body and mind change and be different from how it is as we are today? How can we become more relaxed? How can we become more upright? How can we become more aware of our whole bodies? And that's the art of the practice, really, to become less like that and more like that. Let me just see what time we've got left. Okay, next week we'll do the first movement of the form. We'll start the sequence of the form. I just wanted to do these stepping moves just to kind of there's a lot in them. And it takes time to make these adjustments ourselves and to understand what we're doing in our movement. We're often rushing into the next step. And what Tai Chi gets us to do is to really take a step backwards, slow down, feel what we're doing, and doing the movement from pure awareness, rather than rushing into the next step, rather than rushing into the next move. And the stepping is, something about it is really simple, and something about it is really complicated. It should be really easy, it's not. And that makes us kind of look at what we do. Yeah. So let's do a little bit of what shape the arms are in the postures. So in ward off left, the right foot opens to 1 o'clock. The left foot steps forwards, just the heel. 50-50 posture, turn the waist. Body's upright, neck's upright, crown of the head. Sink into both feet. 50-50 weight, the thighs slightly rolled out. The weight in the center part of each foot, the ball, the heel, the outside edge. The left arm is relaxed. It's important that the shoulders are soft and dropped. Then when the shoulder's in place, the arm floats up. Don't try and just put the hand in place, because you'll bypass the sensations in the shoulder. Relax the shoulders first. Maybe even put your right hand on your left shoulder. Make sure your left shoulder stays soft when you let the elbow float up and the hand go into place. The left shoulder hardly moves when you put the hand in place. The arm is round. All the joints are open. The center of the hand is in line with the center of the body, facing the front, and the center of the hand is at the height of the sternum. All the fingers are open. All the fingers are open and the hand is soft. The hand is soft. It's not held like this. It's not held like that. It's relaxed and soft. It feels like the muscles in the hand are not being used. And if you look from the side, you can see it's quite away from the body. It's not in like this. It's not out like that. It's nice and circular. And the right arm by the side is also circular this way, with one fist between the body and the arm. So if you put your left hand on your shoulder, your hand's just hanging, and you activate the arm and just bring it out slightly by softening the shoulder, thumb on the seam of the trousers. My shoulders are dropped and relaxed. The shoulders are described as a scarf resting over the rib cage, draped. So it's like the shoulders are draped, both shoulders together, not just one and the other, but both shoulders draped over the ball of the chest. Chest is like a big round ball, front and back sides, and the shoulders is draped wide, falling over the top of it. So in this position, standing, I feel a width across the chest and a width across the back, not held in like this. They describe it as space underneath the armpits, okay? But space underneath the armpits is okay as a description, but it's just a physical description of a position. What you want is a sensation of melting and dropping, because that melting and dropping will give you that space under the arm. If you just think of space under the arm, it's just an external shape. What we want is an external shape plus an internal feel of release. So the weight of my arms are relaxed. My elbows feel heavy. My elbow is slightly lower than the wrist. This elbow, my left elbow, slightly lower than the wrist. Let's just shake out. And finish off with that's ward off left. Ward off right is with the left foot out to the corner, the right foot stepping forwards. And in this position with the right foot forward, the right hand is at the height of the throat. Again, nice and round, again, space under the arms, again, shoulder dropped, elbow lower than the wrist. And the left hand, this is at the height of the throat on the center line. The left hand is in a straight line from the fingertip to the elbow, one span from the body to the elbow. The fingertips are looking into the center of the right hand, about an inch away from the center of the hand, looking into the right hand. I'll hold it up close to you so you can see. There's my hand. The fingers of the left are just looking into the hand. From the front, it looks like this. At the height of the throat, in the center of the body, and the left hand just hidden behind the right. So if I drop the right hand, the left hand is just there, one elbow span between the elbow and the body, and the right hand in front. Good, a little bit higher, David, a little bit higher with the right hand. Yeah, height of the throat, good. Yeah, good, great. Okay, quite a technical class today. I hope a technical class is okay, yeah. If you wanted to unmute, we've got a couple of minutes before, yeah, just gone 7 o'clock. If there's any observations or questions or anything you noticed new today you wanted to share, just before we go, that's great.
Yeah, a particular thing I noticed, Luke, was the midpoint in the turn, where your sort of feet are at right angles in that midpoint. I'd always skip that midpoint.
Yeah, it's, if you can be accurate with each of the dots, then the transition between one thing and the next thing becomes very clear to work with. And what we don't want is it all just to blur into the next movement, because you see Taiji being done, it's got a lovely flow to it, and it looks really kind of chilled out and relaxed, but it also needs to have that accuracy with it as well, right? You need the as much release and wave like movement and flowing movement you want that balance with as much accuracy. So you've always got that yin yang thing going on together. It's never just one or the other. It's never just accurate. It's never just flowing and wave and let it go. It's a balance between the two. Okay. Good. I think we'll leave it there for tonight. If in the week you've got any questions, or if anything of this didn't make sense, give me a shout. And we'll see. I'll send you the recording tomorrow, and we'll see you next week.
Okay.
Thanks
you.
very much.
Bye.
Cheers.
Thanks.
Bye for now.
Bye.
See you, Tina.